This morning, as we draw close to the holiday season, I'll be very, very short. Important to note, especially going into the holiday, is that, of course, I did mention this before, the study financing applications are open until mid-January, and so all students must get their documents in on time in order to be, processed. But besides that, this is the last year in which we and all other countries in the Dutch Kingdom will be enjoying ministers' places, ministerplaatsen as they are known. They are reserved study places for future students of St. Martin, specifically for St. Martin, who graduate and can take part in graduate and university studies, which we call the HBO and the WO studies, especially those which have registration restrictions. As some may know, if they have applied, some schools only allow lottery system for entrance, and others there's a restriction in general, and not everyone gets the opportunity, even though that may be their dream. As this year is the last, we would really like to emphasize it for our students. It was brought to my attention that none actually applied last year, so we lost that opportunity. But there are 6 places available this year, 3 for the HBO level and 3 for the WO level. The deadline for registration is May 15th, and the brochure is available online at the ministry's website. And all of the information has also been sent on to the schools with the exam candidates so that they can have this information. But I thought it pertinent to repeat it here because it is something that we should not miss out on. Why this is the last, I think we've been saying this for the past 3 years, we've known for the past 3 years that this was the last, is because of the Netherlands realizing that there are many, many students studying the same subjects, that many of these students, once they've completed, cannot get jobs in their field, and therefore they are, I guess, in the Netherlands becoming an overeducated population, which of course translates and has a negative effect on us. But it is also why the Netherlands has also opted to allocate funding for studying in the region to kind of balance that, where students wouldn't have the opportunity. So as a reminder, 6 ministers' places are still available, and all of the information is in a booklet which can be found on the website for all those who are interested. I would also like to, in the spirit of Christmas, thank the Department of Youth, which had its last Youth Rights of the Child activity on Sunday, culminating in a Christmas party at the Little League ballpark, where Santa was able to, they celebrated with food and drinks, and children were able to receive gifts. So I'd like to thank all the volunteers as well as the ministry staff who made this a great success. Also, in a first-time attempt, though coming in quite late and close to the Christmas season, we were able to put together a quick one-day serenading spectacular, which took place also on Sunday at 4 p.m. and went straight through 8 p.m. on the Rooster Party bus. I don't know if the public noticed this big red bus with many people on it singing and sharing the Christmas spirit. And I'm hoping that it was a blessing to those who were able to witness it. I apologize for those districts which the bus was unable to get into because it's a pretty big bus and turning around is a problem. But it is something that we hope to be able to do on an annual basis. Originally, it was planned to take place over 5 days, but of course, due to budget constraints and still wanting to be able to spread that Christmas cheer, we were able to narrow it down to 1. So the possibilities to really stop and really enjoy it within the districts did not present itself as we had planned, but we were able to go through several districts. The community that took part seemed to enjoy it. We had music teachers, civil servants and their families, as well as community members on board, singing, enjoying the Christmas festivities. Many local Christmas songs also were played via the speakers, and I believe it was a delight for those who were able to enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to us in the years to come bringing back the old serenading so that we can celebrate Christmas St. Martin style. So with that, I'd like to take this opportunity, though I do have a Christmas message out there, to say a very merry and blessed Christmas to all, whether they are in St. Martin or abroad. St. Martin and Christmas in general is a special time, a time for family. Let us not lose focus of that. regardless of our financial strength at this time, do not put the focus on the gifts, but on the gift of love, which is totally free of charge. The reason for the season being Christ our Lord. And I hope that it will be a blessing, even to those who may be sad at this time, to know that he came to bring joy to us all. So blessed Christmas to all, and the prosperities of the new year as it comes, may it reach us all, that we can continue to thrive as a country.
I would like to make use of this opportunity to extend on behalf of the Council of Ministers, but also on behalf of my person and my family, my wife, Gabrielle, our deepest sympathy to Grace Marlin and her family, her children, and to former Commissioner, Island Council member, and Member of Parliament Roy Marlin and his family, our deepest sympathy on the passing, the sudden passing actually, of husband, brother, son, Jose Marlin, a former president of the St. Martin Taxi Drivers Association. Jose was well known in the community as a very friendly, caring, loving person. We know his sudden passing has caught many off guard, particularly the immediate family. And we pray that the good Lord looks over them in the coming days, and our prayers and thoughts are with them. I promised the Minister of Education I will be even shorter. There's one item that I have to address today, and that is that the committee to advise on the electoral reform based on the national decree that was signed, now having the elections take place on the 26th of September, that committee that is referred to in that national decree will be signed off. The committee will be established today by ministerial decree. It will be made up of the following persons: Mr. Julian Lamoni, legal advisor to the Prime Minister, is a member and chairman of the committee, former Lieutenant Governor and constitutional advisor, or advisor rather, to several parliamentary delegations. Attorney Ralph Richardson will be a member also and deputy chair of the committee. Mr. Jules de Vries, the head of legal affairs, will be the third member of the committee, and Mr. Hensley Plantain, the Secretary General of the Ministry of General Affairs, will be the secretary to the committee. Within 2 weeks of today, I think that's January 6th, the committee will present its working plan, and part of that plan will include the date that they will submit their results to the minister, and the date of their final advice, and their final advice should be submitted no later than March 15th, 2016. And the ministerial decree will expire on the 31st of October, 2016.
In your presentation, you made a statement, and I asked about this a couple of weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, and but I'm going to ask again because you made a statement regarding ministers that signs off on decisions or take decisions, and knowing that there's no money to pay or to live up to these decisions. You further said that persons who have done this can spend a maximum of 3 years in prison. Now, my question to you as Acting Minister of Justice, are you going to follow through and hold the former Minister of Justice liable for signing off, or whoever did sign off on these decisions?
First of all, I need to readjust the premise of your question. What I said was that a minister who knowingly commits the government to debts that, according to the criminal code, that minister can be persecuted, and there is a punishment on that act that is up to a maximum of 3 years. You should also know the Minister of Justice, no matter who he is, has no persecution authority for any crime. That's not the task or the job of a Minister of Justice. I just gave that as an explanation that it's a serious matter, that we all should stay within our budgets, and if not, and the key point there is knowingly. So when those documents came to me yesterday, finally, and I saw that there was specific advice from the departments that there is no liquidity of funds to meet those commitments, I had to refuse to sign off on them.
As a follow-up, you said, as a Minister of Justice, you has no authority to prosecute, which I know, but you also have an obligation to file a complaint at the prosecutor's office. Are you going to do that?
No, I'm not going to do that, because the key point is knowingly. So you have to be conscious that you're knowingly doing it and committing a crime.
I move to the Minister of the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, we have an issue when now brewing. While being Acting Minister of Romy, there is a situation where there are plans. I don't know how long ago it took place and how long it's been taking place, that the Ministry of Romy is planning to build a parking for the Walter Plants Pier in the vicinity of Great Bay, somewhere on the beach. There is a beach policy prohibiting this, but still Vromi is saying they're going to go ahead and build a parking. There are residents in that area that are protesting. Do you know of this situation?
You're asking me if I...
If you know of while you were Acting Minister of Romy, do you know of the existing things?
While I was just there for
Couple
a few
days.
days, and it never came up in any discussion and or any document that when I was there. Yesterday, when I was in the office, I saw a newspaper article. I did not read it. I never had the opportunity to get back to it, but I frowned at it, I should say, when I saw that, you know, they were planning. The article sort of suggested, at least the headline, that Vromi and the harbor were planning to build parking on the beach. Now that was kind of strange to me, but I would not want to respond to something that I don't have the information on. So I'm sure the Minister of Romy will have more information, and you can take it up with him whenever the opportunity comes.
With regards to the beach policy, does it allow people to, what is the parameter in
When the Minister of Romy is available to you, you can address the issues with him.
Final question, Michelle.
My other question will go over back to the Minister of Justice. Regarding the immigration officers and the police officers that are, one of the issues which I really don't fully understand, they're saying that they paid in a certain amount of money over the year, the 12 months of the year in taxes. Well, they're saying extra money in taxes so that they will pay less in December or get back some in December. And now because of the budget situation, you're not getting this money. Have you found a solution to that?
Well, you only find the solution if something is a problem. So you first got to determine, is it a problem? And I determined, after looking at that issue, that it's not a problem. The 11 months taxes from your salary is deducted for 12 months. So those taxes that were withheld during 11 months covers the taxes that you would owe for the 12th month. What is not covered in the 12th month is overtime payments, bonuses, gratifications that you received in December. And that was what initially, because that issue died very fast after it was explained what the problem was. Those taxes in December were taxes for earnings in December over and above the actual salary. So there wasn't a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bibi, for your question. Silbert Har, you have the floor.
Yeah. Good morning, Minister Gibson. The balanced budget, does that now stand at 445 million?
Yes, it stands actually at 435.
435. Wow.
I should make mention that in the income, we included approximately, for 2016, 10 million that was made possible by having this regulation, by having this mandate signed off by the Minister of TIAT, for which she has my thanks, because that was the only issue all these years in giving the receiver of tax, the authority to go and collect the taxes. So now the receiver of taxes have that authority, and the expectation is, although it's projected at 13 million, we're taking about 10 million, and that makes the 435, 445.
Okay. Another question is, this is on a budget, so with that amount, a drop in the ocean. But in August, the President of Parliament, Dr. Lloyd Richardson, promised, or he said, let me put it like that the Parliament would transfer 300,000 guilders to the Ministry of Justice for safety and security measures. Did that money arrive?
I have no clue.
No clue. Okay, well, I will ask the President of Parliament this afternoon if the money's come from there. And then a question for Minister Arendel. What is the situation with TISIS, the tourist information system that's going to be implemented at the airport and still isn't there?
During my visit at the airport, there was a presentation by the supervisory board, and next door, the company that is going to implement the TISIS system were there installing it, and they told me within 8 days it will go online. But since I didn't have any further information on that, I will have the Department of Tourism get into contact with them, because the system is going to help the tourist office in collecting data upon arrival in order for them to do the marketing.
Yeah, I know.
The situation that was existing in the past is that the justice system has a border control system whereby the tourist office asked them for them to share the information, and they told them it could not have been done because some of the information are very sensitive and delicate and is protected. But the airport decided to implement the TISIS system, whereby the tourist office can also obtain information, and that is being worked on at the present moment.
Yeah, so it is not working yet.
No, they told me within 8 days, so I believe by Monday
Wow.
it should be implemented. But I have to check with Mr. Hyman, who's working at the airport, to see exactly when and it's going to become
Okay.
effective and go online.
Okay, thank you.
Hilbert, thank you very much for your questions. Second round of questioning. Bibi, you have the floor.
Minister Arundel, speaking about PJIE, there are a number of issues there at the airport. One, this morning, as we speak, there is a situation going on with the signing of the CLA. Have anybody informed you about what's going on at the airport, that there's a number of disgruntled employees that are not satisfied with the current CLA that is about to be signed?
Yes, I did receive requests from the members at the airport. However, I was informed not to engage in any conversation with the workers, because the airport was already in negotiation with them and it was not finalized. And I told them it was too premature for me to go and sit with them and discuss anything until they came to an agreement with the airport. I told them if there's no decision taken, if they cannot come to an agreement, then I am willing and able to go and sit with them in order for us to come and settle the situation.
One of the things, when you have such a situation and if there is a deadlock, one of the things we need is a labor mediator. Do we have one in place or an acting that can deal with this situation?
I am not aware of the situation. I believe there was a labor mediator in the person of Mr. Boseman, I believe, but I don't know. I do not know if they appointed someone else or if he is still in the position, since he's no longer the Minister of FIASA.
With your meetings at the airport, were you informed about the state of affairs of civil aviation, the fire station, and all of these various departments that is not up to par for an international airport?
Yes, I was informed of those developments, and the presentation that I received was based on the developments on the project and the plans to upgrade the different departments, and that has my attention at the moment. As I discussed with the Minister of Finance, I told him that the airport and the tourist office has my priority because they are the main pillars of this economy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very diligent in working with them in solving these problems. But as you said, it will take time and money, but the efforts are being made, and I believe that we can come to a solution.
And Prime Minister, one of the things pending so long for the airport so that we can continue with development at PJIE, FBO permit. Where are we? Do you know?
What?
The FBO, the Fixed Based Operation Building Permit. Do you have an update? Do you know where are we on this?
Ever since last week, we announced that the permit for the construction of the FBO was signed off by the Council of Ministers.
Okay,
So it was signed off ever since last week.
thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Bibi, for your questions. Hilbert?
Yeah, one question to Minister Arundel. You spoke about the focus on generating income. Could you be a bit more specific about that? Because when we hear that, we always think about, oh, that's gonna cost the citizens. But maybe you have better ideas. I would like to hear that.
Presently, the Economic Affairs Department, they are working on several projects and several measures in order to implement them so we can collect fees. One of them was the casino fees, which we finalized. That was in the pipeline for years.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those measures. And I believe, let me see. No, I think I have to get back to you on that, on the list of
Okay,
what's
okay.
is not
But you-
finalized, and the next press briefing,
Yeah.
I will have that information.
You understand, we're curious about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, then a question that's maybe a question for Minister Gibson. I've been looking at the system of child allowance that we have on the island. As I understood it, that is a deductible from taxable income in our system.
Child allowance?
Yeah. Because we just had the legislation on the Best Islands where they get like $38 per month per child. But all I could find here is that in the tax system, you can deduct certain amount from your taxable income for children you have. Now,
Yes, there is, in the tax law,
yeah,
an allowance that you can deduct for, if you have children.
yeah.
You fall in a lower scale or low percentage. That in general exists, but whether or not, I cannot confirm to you whether or not, as it is in BES, is the same thing that we have here.
No, because we don't pay out here. But if it is tax deductible, then, sorry?
The minister's indicating it's on the salary.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Hilbert. Bibi, I'll allow you to do the follow-up question if you have any.
There is a situation that I heard of, I don't know how true it is, that this whole situation that's going on with the police, it's all somewhat political because certain members of the union were touting certain politicians and especially going against the Dutch government when they wanted to send in certain people here. With all the meetings that you've had, Minister Gibson, and with the recent standoff at the airport, did you get that indication that this may be political, that they, even knowing that we have a financial crisis, they still choose to do what they did?
No. I have no reason to suspect that. I know, especially around this time, if you feel you're entitled to money, and if it has been pending for a while, that it's understandable that you're going to get very frustrated and that you're going to try ways to get it. The way they choose is one I say, listen, that's not the way to go about it. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face, and you are damaging and hurting a lot of other people, taxi drivers, bus drivers, workers at the hotel. The whole economy is being affected by it. So that was not a wise step. That was not, in my opinion. Besides that, the information was not there.
Mamacita.